Liberia have a hands on the awareness, the prevention, and of course the eradication of the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm Varfi Holmes, a prolific journalist from Liberia, West Africa, and I'm in an exclusive brief with Dr. Nat Blama, who in fact happens to be Liberia's index case and has now crossed over from being a victim to a survivor of the COVID-19 pandemic. Hello and welcome to this exclusive, Dr. Blama.
Thank you, Vafi.
The dawn of March 16, Liberians woke up to the earth-shattering news that COVID had entered Liberia. You were tested positive and you were deemed to have been the one who was first infected and entered the country with this invisible enemy. When you were pronounced positive, did this feel in any way like a death sentence for Nat Blama?
Well, Vafi, thank you. Before I answer your question, I'd just like to set something in perspective. When I was tested positive on March 16, and my result came back, my specimen was taken on the 15th, and my result came back on the 16th positive. I was tested positive as the first confirmed case. I didn't bring corona to Liberia as the first person, evident by the fact that other subsequent cases that have followed have no alignment with me, and some of them have even been here longer than, even some of the deaths that have occurred been here longer than before I came back, before I availed myself to be tested. Having said that, being a normal human being, when the news hits in the first place, you get afraid, fear takes you over, and a lot of things run to your mind. Death is one of those that would definitely come rushing to your mind. But I didn't at any point think that this could have been a death. I feared nearing death, but I didn't think that this was a death sentence because I had read a lot about it. I've read a lot of survivor stories, and I read the possibility of recovering. And so for a minute, yes, I did think about death, but I didn't think that the pronouncement of being positive was a death sentence.
So how did you feel when you were a carrier of the virus? What were the initial symptoms?
Well, mine was pretty quick. It happened too fast. I came from Switzerland on Friday. Saturday morning I started feeling symptomatic. Saturday morning I started feeling symptomatic and experiencing this strange cold. It's not like the regular cold. I didn't have fresh cold. It was not like I was sneezing or stuff like that. But I felt this strange cold heavy on my chest. This mucus sits on my chest, and then I got some concoction and regular garlic, ginger, honey, and start to take them. In the midst of taking them, I also started developing sore throat, pain in my throat, and onto sore throat, severe headache, body pain, and all of that. And so on Sunday, I requested to do the test, just to be on the safe side, because I wasn't sure whether this was it. And so my thinking was, it better that I do the test, that I can get early treatment or save other people in my immediate proximity than wait and then get worse. It could be or could not. So, that confusion will always be in the mind, and I chose the latter to do the test. And on Monday morning, I got called by Dr. Keller, and he informed me that the test came back positive.
Liberia was watching, and the world as a whole was watching to see either the recovery of Nat Blama or the otherwise. How did that sort of anticipation affect your own psychology?
Well, it was a kind of burden on me. It felt like a real burden on me, and the fact that the whole world, the whole country was watching, and everybody now seeing what's going to come out of this, I felt to fight on and come out of it.
So it exuded some positive energy.
Yes, it did, because I felt if I had died from this, it would have been a worst case scenario, and that would have sent a real negative energy and information out that this is a death sentence. And so it made me strong, it made me fight on, in addition to the support that I received from family members, friends, loved ones, clergymen from all over the world, gave me strength to fight on each day. So yes, the burden of being the first tested positive rested on my shoulder. It was not an easy burden. There were a lot of misfeeling and interpretation, connotations by people from everywhere. Everybody had their own thought about it, and so I thought if I fought this through and came out of it, we can reset the pace and work together to provide more information and education for other people.
Apart from your mental stability, what else supported the kind of confidence and the kind of faith that overturned your story?
Actually, it was something else that supported my mental stability.
I'd like to know.
And my faith in God, my belief in God. I grew up in the church. I'm a Christian. I've gone through the ranks and file of serving in my church. I sit at the level where I'm like an elder in my church. And so I didn't come this far, not knowing God. I came this far by faith. And so my faith in God got activated. And then I could recount some of the promises of God. That our God is the God of healing. Our God is the God of protection. Our God is the God of strength, and that's where I mustered that inner strength that helped me keep my mental stability.
Let's talk about your experience in the quarantine center. How did the virus really treat you? Research shows that the virus is respiratory and it could have some real serious harm, or it could become injurious to the respiratory tract. Did you have to suffer any such experience?
My experience was different. I think it's because it was detected early and treated early. And that's what I can contribute my success and early recovery to. I've read some articles of people who took months to come through, but mine took within a week time, I was in the recovery stage, and so I suffered the headache, I suffered the coughing. There was time I coughed until my side hurts. I suffered the sore throat, which recovered over time. I suffered the body pain, but I didn't go into any kind of distress, breathing distress that could result into being supported by an oxygen or something to breathe with.
You were there and came out successful. What can you say to the many Liberians who may want to disagree or may want to hold on to the myth that corona is not real, especially with the surge in the number of cases?
Well, in the first place, I agree. That's my greatest fear now, that people have not accepted this. There are a lot of conspiracy theory and myth around it, and people carry themselves as though this is the government's making, and people try to downplay the warnings and the advice from the Ministry of Health and the medical practitioners of observing the social distancing, and all of that. And that's my greatest fear, because by doing so, it further endangers more people. And I keep saying, this thing is real. It is real. It is real. I've been sick before. I've grown up as a young man. I've had all different kinds of things. And this is not like the ordinary cold. There are a lot of people putting things on. If you got it, you can be treated like this. You never know. Normally in Liberia, for example, in Africa, a lot of people don't know their health status. Some people got underlying health condition, but they don't know. They've never been tested. They got kidney problem. They got heart disease. They got liver problem. They got lungs infection. They don't know You know what I'm saying? So since you don't know your health situation, once you feel symptomatic, first step is to do your test. If it is proving that you are positive, you go into isolation and treatment. And there's something I like to say about the isolation and treatment, because the isolation is for your own good and the good of your loved ones. Because if they don't disconnect you from the family, you can also affect them. And then it spreads on. So the isolation is not just to keep you into confinement, but it's to be able to detach you from the public so that you can go into treatment.
What sort of inspiration can they draw from your own story that would subsequently see them also a survivor as you are today?
Well, the first thing is they should remain positive. Look, this is not a death sentence. Once you commit to the health protocols, early treatment, early recovery, and this is not a death sentence. So I'd like to ask everyone who, especially those that have been tested positive, sometimes you just disassociate yourself from the social media, concentrate on the treatment, and if you're Christian or whatever religion you subscribe to, you get closer to your God, and so, or what have you. And then use that time to meditate more, because sometimes the noise out there can take you out of concentration, and that will lead you into giving up hope. And so they should remain positive, work with the health workers, and so go through the treatment. This is not a death sentence. The mentality, like one of the doctors said, this virus is aggressive, but it's a weak virus. Early treatment, early recovery. That's the secret about it.
Can you help, chorus this message by using your voice as a survivor to say to Liberia and the rest of the world that important message that they need to carry with them?
One thing I can say to every Liberian or anyone listening to me through this medium is that the virus is real, is raging, and we need to take every precaution, every step that has been laid out by the health professionals. Let us show communal strength by supporting even those that get affected. Because one of the things that I've noticed in our society is the way of ostracizing people and trying to humiliate them, demonizing them. If you continue to do that, it will make people who are affected to keep on shielding it. And by shielding it, it could affect more people. So I think it's about time that we work together and commit ourselves to the health protocol of maintaining social distancing, and to take, when you go out in public, take your mask so that you don't transmit, but also you can protect yourself from people who transmit it. Because one of the studies has proven that the droplets are the most effective way where people, very fastest way that people are getting infected. So let us protect ourselves. Let us stay positive. Over time, if we work together, we can beat the virus. There are other terrible sicknesses that plague the world. This is not the first of its kind, but we can work together and we can overcome it as a people.
Dr. Nathaniel Blama, Liberia's index case who has crossed over from being not just a victim of the COVID-19 virus, but is today a survivor, revive and strengthen to join Liberia and the rest of the world in fighting and ensuring that COVID-19 is eradicated. I'm Varfi Holmes from Liberia, West Africa, saying thanks for watching.